Hey, what's going on guys, and welcome to a new DayZ upcoming updates video. We're going to be looking at the status report that came out this week that had a lot of information about the 0.62 update and the 0.63 beta. So let's get into it and talk about that. Now, the first part of the status report actually explained what's going on right now and the idea that people have that DayZ developers are ignoring the current issues and just not fixing them. They said that is far from the case. They said that internally they're always working on getting those fixes worked on, and also everything in the game, everything that's in the alpha is at basic functional level. So addressing those issues with a lot of the stuff that's just kind of placeholders in the game, they say would be a waste of resources when so much of it is going to be replaced anyway. So that was the whole idea behind this first part of the status report, letting the players know that they are working on fixing those bugs, but a lot of them they cannot just continue to waste time on when they will be replaced by new systems that will be much better. So the next thing they talked about is people asking them, what about all the stuff that you showed and why is it not in? You guys know about, a lot of the weapons that have been shown, a lot of the base building, stuff like that, that's just not in the game. Where is all that stuff? And they talked about that in the status report, and they said nearly everything that has been discussed since we stopped prototyping gameplay mechanics in CQF, stopped creating animations for the new items on the old animation system, and so on, is and has been worked on. And things like the base building, soft skills, or player facial hair growth may seem like they have disappeared, but they haven't. The only reason that they may seem like they have disappeared is because the devs have not associated those with a specific public release yet, but they are things that are still being worked on. And they said the reality of the situation is, with pretty much everything on that list being dependent on the new player controller and the focus for beta being on getting the game stable and playable on the new engine models, we're playing our cards close to our chest. So yeah, with all that stuff that people ask them about if it's still being worked on, whether or not they will be adding it into the game, they will be, and they're still working on it, but the focus right now is that new player controller, getting it in the game, getting it working correctly, and getting the beta up. And then the focus after that will be those items and placing them in the game. But currently the beta and the new player controller do come first before anything else. Moving a bit further down the status report, we get a pretty big statement here saying that there will be a lot of stuff happening over the coming months, and they want to talk about it and tell us as much information as they can, basically. And they said that there will be 2 large releases scheduled for this year, and they are focused fully on those at the moment. The development team is currently divided into strike teams, a smaller strike team focused on the 0.62 update, which they are calling the visual upgrade, and the next team is focused on 0.63/beta. And if you're wondering what's going to be in that 0.62 update, they have a detailed list here, what's going to be in it and what's not going to be in it. So what will be in the update is new tree models, denser forest, new clutter, so new grass and small plants, new surface textures for roads, plains and such, improved wind behavior, new shader for the wind affecting trees and grass, tweaked and changed lighting for the world, a more apocalyptic feel, which is very nice to hear about, small improvements to satellite textures, rain affected by wind, and refinement of its behavior in general. Many reworked locations on Trinara, so we're talking probably cities, villages, and all that stuff like they've done in the past. Reworked once again in 6.2, reworked Gilly to be consistent with the new tech, and small bug fixes from some issues from the 6.1 update. So that's what's confirmed for the 6.2 update, confirmed to be in it. Now let's talk about what will not be in the 6.2 update, and that is any changes to gameplay, any changes to buildings and structures in terms of model graphics, any changes to player model fidelity, any changes to animation fidelity, or any of the gameplay changes or new content that they've been occasionally mentioning in the status reports. Those are scheduled for the 0.63/beta update. So I like that they did that here, kind of makes things more clear, lets us know exactly what's going to be in the 6.2 update and what's not going to be in the update. Alright, moving on here, we have a pretty big statement on what's to come after the 6.2 update has been released, and that is the 2 strike teams that we talked about. They will merge, and they will both be working on the 6.3 update /beta, which will bring major changes for the game as a whole. And they say that this is the update that we've all been waiting for and that the devs have been working hard to reach for the past few years. This major update will bring refined features, content, and overall improvements to the DayZ experience, and they also aim to release a handy toolset very near to or along with the 6.3/beta update. The toolset will contain the much requested server files. Lastly, they finished off the status report with a list of what every team is currently working on for DayZ Standalone, starting off with the gameplay team, and they are working on a refactoring of hard-coded world interactions to script. There were still a couple left, like opening doors, for example, and creating a core synchronization model for these, moving VoIP to server authoritative completely, new weapons API for weapon script implementation, inventory conditions implementations for item state and more, optimization of item spawning for server performance, AI script API for behavior modification, new player spawn definition, new item spawn definition, vehicle behavior in new technology, and backend toolset for central manipulation of economy and server management community versions. So those are the versions of the server files that they will be releasing to the community, so that admins on servers can manage the spawning of items on the server and more. So pretty awesome stuff right there that they're working on. Let's also move down to the design team and see what they're doing. So the design team is working on user actions manager for the new synchronization model, player representation refactor and debug functionality for the new player controller, new item hierarchy for item configurations, data restructurization to suit new setup, inventory refactor and optimization according to internal version, integration of soft skills to actions in-game, electricity and its implementation, and also placing of items in the world and its implementation. Moving down to the animation team, they are working on the implementation of animation player turns, polishing new weapon animations like the unjamming, implementation of hit reactions to melee combat in new system, work on inverse kinematics and item poses, tweaking player graph, implementation of detailed user action animations. For the engine team, they're working on toolset refinement, new inverse kinematics implementation, new physics representation for non-player entities, new shader for trees and grass, hit reactions in animation system, synchronization of new animation system, player turns, aiming model. And for the art team, they said new models, sorry, we don't want to spoil stuff. So we don't get too much from the art team right there. Apparently they're working on something that they do not want to spoil, so looking forward to that. And that about does it for the status report, guys. A lot of information on what's exactly going to be in the 6.2 update, and also what we can expect for the 6.3 update. Also, they said 2 major updates come in this year, so that will be the 6.2 update, and I'm assuming also the 6.3 beta. That's what we had for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. If you're new, subscribe. If you did enjoy the video, hit that like, and I'll see you guys in the next one.